Today I'm going to talk about the RAFT strategy. RAFT stands for Role, Audience, Format, and Topic. Students will read a text and the teacher will assign the important ideas or information that a student should focus on in the reading. Next, the teachers will assign the RAFT writing project and give adequate time for the students to complete the project. It could be a homework assignment, or if it's an essay, the teacher could assign it for a week. We use this strategy as a guided practice strategy or main practice activity in my lesson plan. The RAFT writing project is best used in the middle of the semester when students are familiar with their discipline-specific content. This strategy allows students to identify different perspectives on the topic. It allows the student to analyze why they care about the topic, and it allows the student to answer the questions: which viewpoint appeals most to me? How do I feel as I write about this topic from this role? And it also allows the student to be exposed to different formats which writing can take. The strategy can assess main ideas and summarization, compare and contrast sources, and support vocabulary development. The following two periodicals, the New York Times Upfront and the Atlantic, and the RAFT activity will increase my students' literacy ability in my discipline English by utilizing the apprentice learning model for mentoring disciplinary literacy, which is mentioned in BO on page 30. RAFT is a strategy based on the apprentice learning model according to BO. It is found in section 2 of the book, which contains all the strategies based on apprentice learning model. Next, we're going to talk about how to apply the RAFT strategy to the New York Times Upfront. The New York Times Upfront is the high school version of the New York Times. It is written for high school students and teenagers and read by high school students and teenagers as well. I will use New York Times Upfront to build a lesson plan using the RAFT strategy. I will use the article "No Hiding Your Face" as a primary text, and a RAFT writing assignment, which will be used as a guided practice main activity during my lesson plan. I will ask my students to write as a blogger, which will be the role for a website on police surveillance. I will ask them to write for the blog audience to write an investigative blog on police surveillance, which will be their form and respond to the topic, high school level articles on constitutional rights. The following teacher's guide will be used in my lesson plan. You guys can click on the link and look at that. And of course, the RAFT strategy comes from BO. Next, we'll talk about the Atlantic and how it can apply the RAFT strategy to this periodical. The Atlantic, as many of you know, is a magazine founded in 1857 that covers literature, arts, and politics. They abide by the following principles, which can be found on their website. Reason should always guide opinion. Ideas have consequences, sometimes world historical consequences. The knowledge we have about the world is partial and provisional and subject to analysis, scrutiny, and revision. I will use Taylor Sachs' article, "The 19th Century Feminist Novel Pushed Out of the Russian Canon," which is currently in the Atlantic, as the text assigned for a RAFT writing project. I will ask my students to write as journalists, their role to write to their journal readers, their audience, to summarize their article, which will be the format, and I will ask my students to answer the following prompt. What is the main idea or purpose of the book review? And that will be their topic. The article will be used in the format part of the project, and you guys can click on the link to find the project and also the Atlantic.